Hey guys, it's Fatih from the Small Talk crew. If you're a Chelsea supporter, today's really not the best of days for you. Frank Lampard has been sacked, and I'm just here to give my quick reaction and possibly my view on this, and maybe on the incoming manager as well. So let's just get straight into it. So around Monday night in Australia, there was starting to be some little rumbles on social media going around that Frank Lampard will be sacked, and pretty much straightly after that, the Chelsea board released a statement saying that they did part ways with Frank Lampard. There seems to be a bit of a split between the Chelsea supporters and some people in the media as well. Some believe that it was due with the results that was coming through for Chelsea, that Frank Lampard would be sacked pretty soon, and some believe that is a bit too early. Now, for me personally, I'm sort of stuck in the middle regarding this scenario. For the people that do wish for that did wish for Frank Lampard's head to be chopped, let's not forget that between October and just before the beginning of December, Chelsea was starting to come through the media as Champions League favourites, and potentially challenging Liverpool and Man City and interrupting their dominance at the moment. No one wished for his head to be chopped then. It just seems like the 1 month, 1.5 months doesn't really, merit a sacking, considering that Chelsea's 11 points from the top and 5 points from top four. Now, the one thing, in my personal opinion, that went heavily against Frank Lampard is the fact of how much money he did spend in the preseason. Now, we all know that during the first season of his managerial reign at Chelsea, they had the transfer ban, and it just seemed like everything was going all good for him. He had the proper youth team in place. They were scoring goals. Abraham, Mason Mount all stepping up. And it just seems that all that money that he spent in the preseason with Timo Werner, you got Havertz coming in, and the performance that they've been putting in as well, has played heavily on him. Now, in my personal opinion, what do we have? We have Wolves and Burnley. Okay, so that's the next two games for Chelsea. You got both of them at the Bridge as well. If the results were going downhill, and considering the position that you're in, why wouldn't they have given him those two games as an advantage to go, you know what, look, the position that we're in is not the best position. You have these two games to fix it. Not fix the whole problem. Whether you gave him maybe a potential, say, a 4-point or a 6-point ultimatum and see how he goes, and maybe make a decision after that, I think would have been the best scenario for Chelsea as a total. Look, there's things that work in his favour to say, you know what, yeah, your sacking was premature, and there's some things that don't work in his favour as well. His points per match was 1.75, I believe, and it's one of the lowest, if not the lowest, during the Roman era, if we want to call it that. Look, again, I think that with what Frank Lampard's done, what he was able to achieve in his first season was the reason why certain people are reacting that his sacking is premature. One thing that I didn't agree with what Frank did at Chelsea was the constant changing of player positions and the constant changing of formation. That really caused a bit of an issue within the squad. You can definitely see that with Timo Werner. You can see that with Havertz, even with Kante. Now, Kante for me is one of the best CDMs in the world, if not the best at his prime. At his best. The constant movement of him to bring Jorginho into the squad, you can definitely see then that it caused a few issues for him, especially when he came to a defensive point of view. I think that went against Lampard, and actually cost us a few games, in my personal opinion, as well. Look, regarding Lampard, I wouldn't have sacked him. Again, I would have gave him those two games as an ultimatum and just maybe made a judgment after that. The word on the street is Thomas Tuchel is going to come into play here at Chelsea. This is a hard one to begin with, because it's hard to give a rating for Thomas Tuchel. Okay, yes, he was the manager of PSG, but with all due respect to the French squad, my grandma can win trophies at that team. Okay, so I can't really give a basis on it. If I did want to give a viewpoint on his reign, I wouldn't judge on the French League One. I'd make a judgment on his Champions League, and that didn't end well for him. it's part of one of the reasons why he was brought in, and him not winning it, in my personal opinion, cost him his job. If you want to look at his time at Borussia Dortmund, he did win the German Cup, but it was a Bayern dominance again, even during his era. One of the big factors that probably plays into him being hired as a Chelsea manager, you got to look at some of the players that are in the squad, and you got Timo Werner, you got Havertz, you got Rudiger, even Pulisic, who played under Tuchel when he was at Dortmund, might work in his favour. And maybe the ideal scenario is to get the best, or bring maybe Werner back to his form, and maybe try to find that link between Havertz and Werner. But look, if it was me that was giving him his contract, I wouldn't do anything more than 18 months, because you're handing people out 4-year contracts and sacking them within a year, especially considering that come next year, when if he is hired, that come next year, that if he does happen to make a few adjustments and buy a few players and it doesn't work out again, there's heavy compensation to be paid. As a Chelsea supporter, I would like to say thank you to Frank Lampard for his managerial services at the club. He's a legend, whether as a manager or even as a player. What he did during his first season can definitely not be overlooked, and the issues that he was handed to him on his first day onwards. I'd like to just say thank you. Whether it is Thomas Tuchel coming in, or maybe Allegri or someone else, we're just going to have to wait and see. I would probably lean towards Tuchel, and see how the rest of the season goes. Thank you very much for listening, and don't forget to subscribe. We're on a few different platforms here as well, and we do also have a podcast running up, so please subscribe, and look forward to speaking with you guys when we have a new manager.